G'day comrades, my name is Luke Whitington. I'm the Executive Officer of the Search Foundation. You would have seen, hopefully, that I've just sent you this report on the first 4 months that I've had in the job. Now I understand some of you don't have time to read reports, so I thought I'd follow up with this quick video to explain what was in the report and encourage you to read it if you get the chance. The political situation that we face at the moment is pretty extraordinary. The rise of authoritarianism, far-right groups here and overseas, the IPCC report on climate change showing that unless urgent action is taken very soon, we're heading for climate disaster, and of course the greatest level of inequality in 75 years. And we need all of us to take action to stop that, and I know many of you do in your own fields, and also of course many of us do as part of Search. To that end, Search has been very active recently. We've had the Laurie Carmichael event, we've had the Harry Glasbeek event, and we've got a number of events coming up. The Adelaide event with Clive Lewis MP, we've got the Women's Work event in Brisbane on Saturday the 3rd of November, and of course next Wednesday I'll be in Melbourne meeting with members to plan out further events there. So we've been very active. We've also moved, of course, Search News online. We're now reaching thousands instead of hundreds of members or supporters and supporters on our Facebook page through the integration of Search News with our social media. Our Jump In, Get Involved video has been viewed now over 17,000 times, and just in the last 60 days we've had over 3,300 engagements with our articles, reports and news on Search News. So we've been very active in that regard. We've also doubled our financial membership in the past 4 months, and we've been assisting and intervening in political campaigns, the ones that are priorities for our members. So the Uluru Statement from the Heart, we've been supporting that. The campaign for the abolition of nuclear weapons, we went down to Canberra for the rally, and we've also been supporting that through giving strategic advice. We've brought together different groups and individuals to talk about the direction of the climate change campaigns that are currently going on around Australia. And just last week I was able to help Jolovan Wham, Singaporeese human rights and migrant worker activist, to meet with state and federal politicians and with unionists to promote the human rights of migrant workers in Singapore, and indeed the civil rights of all Singaporeans. Just yesterday we got to meet with Anote Tong, the former president of Kiribati. That was a bit last minute, so couldn't let everybody know about that, but thanks very much to Kate Lee from AFIDA for organising for us to have a brief discussion with Anote Tong. And so we've been engaged in a lot of political interventions and strategic interventions in that regard. And that's what my report is really about, which is that for us to continue to do that sort of work, we need your continued support, and we need to make sure that Search is behaving or acting strategically, so that we have the resources that we need to continue our political work, our education programs. I should have mentioned we've just expanded our education program last weekend. I went down to Canberra to do that, and we've got plans to do Melbourne and Western Sydney, and also to do political education with trade unionists as well as emerging activists, particularly around the student movement. And that kind of strategic intervention, that kind of doing what we do well and concentrating on what we do well is exactly what members have told us through the National Forum process and through other consultations and conversations that we've had, that Search can't do everything, but what it should do well. So in this report I've said, focusing on our education program, our political activities, our publications, and of course our speaking tours. And if we do those 4 things well, then Search will continue to attract new members, new volunteers, the support that it needs to continue on to into the future. So I thank you very much for being a Search member and being a Search supporter of the Search Foundation, and of course encourage you to come along to the upcoming events and contribute to Search News and continue to be active in the foundation, and I'll see you out there at those events, and hopefully if you can write for Search News or contact me in any other way, I'd be glad to hear from you. Thanks very much.